afternoon, and thank you for joining us at this very important event in the life of Steele High School. We are glad to have parents and friends with us today, and we especially welcome our guests from out of town. We want you to know that we are very proud of Steele High School and its fine students and staff. We have squeezed in as many of you as we can possibly fit here today. So for everyone's safety, ladies and gentlemen, we must insist that you please remain at your seat during the commencement this afternoon, and that you do not move around for the purpose of taking pictures at any time during what we hope will be another very dignified ceremony. Thank you once again for joining us. We hope you enjoy the proceedings.
Would you please stand for the presentation of the colors by the 112th Engineer Battalion and the singing of the national anthem, and remain standing for the invocation.
Will you please bow your heads for a moment of prayer? Dear Lord, we pray to you on this momentous day in the life of the class of 1994 for wisdom, achievement, continued health, and love. Without you in our lives, we would not have been able to make it as far as we have today. We thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon this class, its athletes, its scholars, and its leaders. We pray that you will continue to bless us and to guide us in the right direction. And I ask you, Lord, that you help us to cope with this change in our lives. And just as we won't forget the memories we have shared in the halls of Steele, we will know that even though we may feel alone without you, without our friends from high school, we will never be alone, because you will always be in our lives. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please
Please be seated.
Go to the Lord bless you.
It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 107th Baccalaureate Commencement Program of the Amherst Schools. I wish to recognize our guests, members of the Board of Education, Mrs. Carol Jajak, President, Mrs. Jennifer Musgrave, Vice President, James Berthold, Mrs. Sandy Friedman, Mr. Ronald Yacobosi, members of the administration, Mr. Howard Dolmage, Superintendent, Timothy Logar, Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Al Al-Hindi, Treasurer, Mrs. Diane Shekelhoff, Principal of the Lorraine Joint Vocational School, Mrs. Lois Van Guck, Associate Principal at Steele High School, Mr. Richard Roth, Assistant Principal, Steele High School, Mr. Robert Danello, Principal, Powers Elementary, Mr. Robert Weirson, Principal, Harris Elementary, Mr. Steve Demko, Principal of Shoup Middle School, Mr. William Marley, Principal of Nora Junior High School, Mr. Kenneth Gawaki, Supervisor of Buildings and Grounds, and our special guests seated over here to my left, members of the faculty of the Amherst Schools. Our baccalaureate speaker is Father Lawrence Martello, pastor of the Amherst St. Joseph Catholic Church. As our program continues, I ask you to understand that we expect our baccalaureate commencement program to be a dignified ceremony. We are here to honor the members of the class of 1994 for their many years of academic work. I request that all guests remain from noisy displays, especially when our graduates' names are being read. There would be nothing worse than for a student to go to school for 13 years and have someone ruin it and their name not be heard because someone else wants to yell out something for their graduate. I know our graduates will respect their classmates. I ask you to respect our students. Thank you.
First, on my own behalf and on behalf of the many people of Amherst, I congratulate you as graduates, you as their parents and family and friends. It takes a cooperative effort to bring anyone to this point in their lives. And I thank you for the opportunity to allow me to share this day with you. The present is really made more flamboyant and prominent because of the future that awaits our young graduates today. For while they were in school, many national boundaries have shifted. Former nations have resurfaced into the headlines of our world papers. New governments have been formed. Indeed, you have many tough challenges before you to be faced. And I don't have to remind you of that, because the world and national scene have changed dramatically, especially during your high school years. You've seen the brutal violence that marked the demolition of the Soviet Union. You've seen the senseless death on our own streets over turf or a common jacket. You've seen progress, and you've seen recession in unstable and troubled spots of the world. You've seen the hope of peace develop in the Middle East. You've seen democracy replace apartheid in South Africa. And yet you see the uneasy and tense relationship and balance that is held with North Korea even as we speak. But my purpose is not to challenge you to face these opportunities. It's rather my concern as to how you will go about and face those opportunities. Because my message today and my concern today is that you enjoy life. Don't forget that life is not supposed to be a miserable set of circumstances. It doesn't sound like a minister or a priest, especially a Roman Catholic, should be saying enjoy life and have a good time and fun. I know that. But I mean that. I have really met too many unhappy people, too many cynical and bored people. And I think that they've forgotten how to enjoy life, how to have fun in this world, authentic and real fun. Little children still have that understanding of what it is to enjoy life and to play. How many of you have been asked, as I have, will you play catch, will you play cards, will you play Nintendo? They like to play and have a good time with life, despite what they're living in. Once we lose that possession as adults, I'm afraid we've lost a zest and a zeal and a joy for what is true and really beautiful in life. And what you have left once that element is gone, but hard work and obligations and responsibilities. And I'm not trying to play down or to discount hard work or duty or responsibilities. I truly believe that life is worth much more than that. Much more than that. I believe that's been intended by our common Creator. The finest things of this life do not come from mere duty or obligation or responsibility. But when we experience the lives of people who go beyond what duty is, to a sense of freely giving, almost the privilege of what they are doing becomes their lives themselves. They're happy and joy-filled people. We enjoy their company. They're busy and their time is consumed more than by duty. Their lives go beyond what duty calls. Think of the happy people that you know in your lives. What makes them happy? They enjoy doing something or building something that they're not forced or coerced into doing. Whether it's building something as large as a mansion or a boat or even a model airplane. They enjoy doing that. Maybe they enjoy writing, whether it's a symphony or a novel or a play. They enjoy doing that. I have a friend I visited out west that I graduated with, and he's a columnist for a newspaper, and he's writing a novel. And his life is consumed with this novel, but he's happy, his wife and children are happy, and there isn't even any foreseeable recompense for this novel yet. Or think about the happy people who enjoy teaching children something, whether it's something as simple as riding a bike or planting a garden or learning how to tie a shoe. happy people when they're doing these kinds of things. Or growing something special like double dahlias in their garden, or excavating in a dig in the Mojave Desert. All of this goes beyond the norm of what is expected. Or maybe closer to us are those people at our house that really work to make it be a home. By their care and their concern, their acceptance, their forgiveness, their love, make that house more than just a house, but they make it a home. These are the joyful people who haven't lost anything in themselves, but they make our lives a lot better, a lot more enjoyable, because they enjoy that life even more themselves. They've helped us to recognize and to enjoy the beauty of this life. While they admit present responsibilities and obligations, but they're not overpowered by those. They're not overcome by the weightiness of what it means to fulfill your duty. There was a Francesco in the 13th century in a northern Italian town who gave up a lot of wealth and power and a family name and started to do strange things like singing to the world of creation, the birds of the field, the animals, the sky, and the trees. Not only was he known for that simplicity, but he's also known for his joyfulness. We remember him as St. Francis of Assisi, who enjoyed life to the full. He almost played at it as he lived it. And as you embark on something good and beautiful today that you're trying to make of your own life, I ask you not to give up work, but to recognize work and effort in its proper perspective. Because greatness depends on dedication and a sense of discipline. And coming this far, you already realize that. But not only on discipline and dedication. Life is more than that. Life is more a lived celebration with enjoyment and fun. Not at another's expense, but at your own good and for the sake of the good around you and the world that you live in and that you serve, whatever path that world might take you in the years to come. I ask you to keep a joyful spirit and don't forget how to not only work, but to enjoy life and almost to play life as a game. Consider those who have helped you the most thus far. What have these people been to you? What have these people been to you? What kind of people have they been? My guess is that they've enjoyed life. They have a joyful spirit about them. It takes their work beyond just being a good teacher, a good parent, a good friend, but to becoming a great teacher, a great friend, and a great parent, because they have a degree of joy and fun in their lives. Not just ordinarily good, but extra good. They go that step further. You will have, as all of us do, all kinds and different styles of work to be accomplished. Some of necessity. We do those because we have to do those. Others for money. There are plenty of bills always to be paid. But the true, and I think the finest work is done in the time that we do for the sheer joy of doing it. And we enjoy this labor. The great achievers go beyond what is really for pay, what is for recompense. Because I believe someday there will be a cure for AIDS. There will be a cure for cancer, or at least bring these two deadly diseases under control. That there is a possibility for people to live in peace with one another. And those people who work at that and who research in labs into the wee hours of the night go beyond what is the norm or the accepted 40 hours per week. Those great achievers do it almost for the sheer joy of doing it. Their dedication and their sense of life goes beyond just what the norm of our culture and our society accept. So my dear young people, I congratulate you. I want you to go out and tackle life with gusto. I want you to enjoy it, those opportunities, those challenges, and those problems. But above all, I want you to remember that our world needs you and your contributions. While you're at it, have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Martello. Commencement addresses will now be presented by members of the senior class. Gretchen Ruth, Valedictorian. Lana Mahar, Class President. Keith Colasar was scheduled to speak representing the Lorain County Joint Vocational School. Unfortunately, at the last minute, Keith was unable to attend today's ceremony. We would like to congratulate Keith for earning the highest grade point average of Steele High School students at the JVS. This time, I ask Gretchen Ruth to come forward.
Class of 1994, members of the school board, administration, and faculty, family and friends. It is an honor to be addressing you today. As I tried to decide what I wanted to say to this year's graduating class, I thought about all that we have been through our years at Steele. What I realized is there is no easy way to sum up the times we have shared. This is because the things we have experienced together are simply too numerous and outstanding to reflect upon in one short speech. Over the years, we have worked together with many different combinations of classmates. We have taken part in study groups, clubs, musical groups, athletic teams, and even casual social groups, all of which have filled many of our days and nights. With these groups, our teachers, administrators, coaches, and advisors have played important roles by not only providing knowledge and advice, but by allowing us to experience new ways of approaching situations. From the experiences shared within these groups, each student has taken something with them that has contributed to his or her own unique individuality. What makes these experiences even more special is knowing that we will take them with us as we move on forward down new paths in our lives. The poet John Keats once said, "Nothing ever becomes real until it is experienced." Through our own experiences together in high school, our lives have truly become real. We have gained knowledge, confidence, and determination, which has helped us to grow and achieve all that we have. Standing here today, I see many classmates with whose accomplishments I am extremely proud. I know that these were achieved through hard work and dedication. However, for each accomplishment, there were many challenges that first needed to be overcome. Many challenges that seemed to be overwhelming and even pushed us down. This is how we learn and have moved steadily forward. Today we sit here facing one of the greatest challenges and changes in our lives. We are leaving the comforts of our high school years and heading towards an uncertain future. There are many roads to take, roads full of opportunity for us to continue on with the achievements we have already made. And there are also roads which can cause hardships. Which will we choose? Certainly there is a possibility of choosing the wrong path. Hopefully we can take the experiences we have learned and use them to point us in the right direction. Direction that will lead us to success and happiness. Each step we take is important and will grow to be real parts of our world as new experiences come our way. I know personally that the experiences I have had at Steele have allowed me to learn and grow. I thank the class of 1994 for sharing their experiences and opportunities with me. I wish you the best of luck and hope that as you continue in your endeavors, you will keep the times we have shared with you and let them guide you to further achievements in life. Remember that though we are moving in separate paths, the experiences that we have had will always bind us as
Good afternoon, Board of Education, Administration, faculty, parents and family, guests and graduates, and welcome. It is my pleasure as the president of this 107th graduating class of Marion Steele High School to speak to you today. It is also my struggle to follow 106 presidential speeches with originality. When I asked our retiring guidance counselor, Mr. Camp, what should I say, he simply replied, "I don't really care as long as it's short." I guess he's as anxious to retire as we are to graduate. I came to the purpose of my speech when I asked myself what could be said to me that would straighten out this nostalgic and fearful, but excited and eager ball of emotions. My purpose then became to look fondly to the memories we've shared, but most importantly, to leave here today with a strong feeling of success and ambition for the future. For those who go and those who stay here in this small town of Amherst, it will be remembered and referred to as home. How could we forget the fields and walking up to Hasty Tasty for ice cream, or football games on Friday nights, whether we watched or didn't watch, cheered, sang, marched, or played the game. As we go our separate ways, I hope we take the things we've learned here at Steele with us. Not just the things we've learned from textbooks, but from living here, from friends, and especially from parents and teachers. So many have given of themselves. A few of my best friends have been faculty who took the time. So many citizens have been examples for us. Let's give some of that back by learning from our mistakes, utilizing our many diverse talents, and setting an example. There are many underclassmen and younger brothers and sisters in this audience today who look up to you. They truly do. Even those who are older than us look to the standard we set. We'll be the success stories our children aspire to be from a high school just like this one. We are the future, and the future is a bright one. It is commonly said that your high school years are the best years of your life. For us, they are memories as of today. But what good is a life that ends here? This is the beginning of many big changes in our lives. As John Leo, a contributing editor to U.S. News and World Report, said, "Paradoxical as it may sound, I believe that change is the one constant in life. Make it your friend and not your enemy." He's right. Everything changes, and that doesn't change. Let us close this chapter of our lives with only happy tears, and remember, we will leave here today not forgotten, because we will determine the destiny of this country. I challenge you today to put your whole heart into your dreams of happiness and success, and make them your own. Make a difference. I realize that an unknown future is startling, but I stand here before you graduates with the same anxieties. We are not the first or the last to be here. I say, if you fall, pick yourself up and realize that there is tomorrow. Let no one tell you that you can't or that it's impossible. And by all means, don't sell yourself short by assuming that you can't. And most importantly, never be satisfied with less than your wildest ambition. Don't let go until you have done all that you possibly can. It's easy to say, but difficult to do. Ask yourself, am I up to the challenge? My hope is that when each of you reflects back, you will not remember just this ceremony, or that you did or didn't have a bad hair day, or that you wish you could go back or relive your high school years, but that you'll remember how great it felt to be a success, and that you'll be inspired to work harder to find that feeling in the life you'll be living. Today, thank your parents, your family, your teachers, your friends, the people who support you and have contributed to this success that you are being recognized for. In closing, I'd like to wish the best of luck to each one of you, and I am excited to find out in 10 years how all of you have grown. It has been my pleasure to represent such a distinguished class. God bless you all.
At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the newest members of the Steele High School Academic Hall of Fame. The purpose of this award is to recognize academic excellence in a more visible manner, to serve as an example for future students to model, and to publicly recognize the excellence of an education in the Amherst schools. To be chosen for induction into the Academic Hall of Fame, a student must meet at least one of the following criteria: be a National Merit Finalist, receive a perfect score on one of the subtests of the ACT or the SAT, or rank in the top 1% of the graduating class. Students inducted into the Academic Hall of Fame will have their picture on display in the lobby showcase for 3 years, and their name will be on a plaque that will permanently hang in the showcase lobby. In addition, each inductee will receive an individual plaque today. On behalf of the Amherst Board of Education, the Steele High School PTO, and the Amherst Eagles who sponsor the program, and the faculty of the Amherst schools, it is my pleasure to introduce the new inductees to the Steele High School Academic Hall of Fame. First inductee is Sue DeJama. Second inductee is Christy Jubek. Next inductee is J.T. Engelhardt. Next inductee is Gretchen Ruth. And our last inductee is Tara Vegahoff. Tara is also a salutatorian.
Graduates, class of '94, members of the Board of Education and faculty of the Amherst schools, and most of all, parents and grandparents and friends of our graduates, we are honored to have you with us today. We welcome you to these 107th commencement exercises. It's a day of happiness, solemn time of celebration that life is changing, passing right, if you will, as the seasons change, relentless and inevitable, unpreventable. This is good and this is necessary. It is the way life is, and we accept it. We celebrate that change today. I asked Mr. Boynton for a few minutes at each graduation ceremony because while I know many of the graduates in this graduating class personally, I do not have an opportunity to say the words that I frankly wish somebody would have said to me on graduation day. About a month ago, I read a statistic that struck me, a statistic that I have had trouble getting out of my head for the past month. Please understand that I spend much of my life reading governmental statistics and have found them generally to be in error and usually released so that someone can gain some kind of political or financial advantage. Government and various organizations love to release statistical information and spin it to convince us that
moving jobs to Mexico is really a benefit to all of us, or that we need to be thinking in some new politically correct manner, but I digress. This particular bit of statistical information said, released by the Department of Labor, said that a recent immigrant to this country was 10 times more likely to become a millionaire than an American born in this country. Let me repeat that. Our government is saying that a recent immigrant to this country is 10 times more likely to become an American millionaire than you are. I mentioned that statistic to a couple of my friends who are in business, and they looked at me like I was a complete fool. Well, of course that's the truth, they said. Why are you so amazed? An immigrant will work harder and longer. He or she will plan their future and the future of their families, and too many Americans won't. Ladies and gentlemen, if that statistic is true, if an immigrant coming to this country with all of the obstacles as language and customs and prejudice to face, to overcome, he or she actually does better, has more chance and more hope of success, more chance to make it in America than our graduates do, then something is very wrong. I don't know if I accept my friend's answer. An immigrant to our shores simply work harder, and therefore that's the reason for success. I don't know. That's an easy answer, and very often the easy answers are not correct. But what my friend is saying should be an insult to every young person in America. If we have become a country of people who take it easy, who whine because if we have to put a little extra time in to accomplish the job or to satisfy the customer, or we constantly blame others for our own failures, then I can understand why the statistic is true. I don't believe it. I know too many members of past graduating classes, too many members of the class of '94. I've seen too many of them, I've seen many of them, put in long hours of work to above and beyond the call of duty to accomplish their goals. And I am confident that they will exert as much effort in their careers after graduation. Young ladies and gentlemen of the class of '94, I'm going to ask you to remember several things this afternoon. But most important, I'm going to ask you to remember the statistic that I just shared with you, that an immigrant has 10 times more of an opportunity of becoming a millionaire than you do. Do not allow that fact to leave your memory for a while. Think about it. Argue about it. Discuss it with others. Honestly consider the reasons that that might be true. And young ladies and gentlemen, make sure that if the reason for success in your mind is hard work, that you do what is necessary to be successful. America is still the land of opportunity. Think about it. Millions are trying to get in, and there aren't millions trying to go out. There is a reason for that. We have problems and we have troubles, but there's a reason that millions are trying to get in. We still have a chance to be successful in America, but there's a price. Playing the lottery is not the way. That's fool success. Millions lose and few win. Hard work and intelligent choices are still the keys to success. I'm sure those words have been uttered for 107 commencements somewhere in the Amherst schools. Class of '94, help us change that statistic. You become successful financially, religiously, with your family, in whatever way you choose to define success, but please remember, it just won't happen. You must make it happen, or you must help make it happen. Finally, I told you I was going to talk about a couple of other things to ask you to remember, words that I have heard at our graduations over the years. I have repeated them every year since, and I'm going to repeat them again. I once heard a 45-year-old man whine that he had not been successful in life because of something that had happened early in his life, sometime way back during his high school career. He was not a particularly happy person. This is a true story, by the way. And to hear him talk, something which he did constantly, his life had been downright unsatisfying. All of this he seemed to blame on something real or imaginary, some slight that happened when he was in school many, many years ago. What a waste. It would be interesting if we, teachers and administrators, the people who run our schools, actually had that much power and authority. It would be interesting if a person's life was really totally shaped by 12 or 13 years of school. The fact is, that idea is total and utter nonsense. The time we spend in school is but a short scene in the drama that is our life. You may excuse your failures in life by blaming others, the school, the church, the government, the neighbors, even parents. That is seldom the reality. The reality is that what you choose to do or fail to choose to do will have much more bearing upon your success and satisfaction in life than one or two happenings in the distant past. Forget it, it's over. Put the negatives behind you, and I might add, just as important in the future, don't team up with negative people. Choose a negative person as your life mate. Your life will be miserable. Never in my 30 years in this business, in this career, has a prospective employer called and asked me about a student's grade. I swear to you that is the truth. What that employer asks me is he on time? Is he absent from school much? Is she enthusiastic? Is he or she a positive person who sees good things in people? Or is that person negative, a wet blanket, a loser who always has a reason for not getting the job done, or who always takes the easy way out? A person who makes excuses and blames others. We all know people like that. If you don't yet, you will. Only you can control how I will answer that. One member of the class of '94 said something that really struck me as we were planning the graduation ceremony. I won't embarrass her by naming her. She said, "It doesn't matter where we are, it matters who we're with." Beautiful thought, and I plan to use that in future graduations. After today, you may never see some of your classmates again. That is very sad, especially if you have never really gotten to know them. Please remember that many of the best people in the world are here in this room today, your parents and your classmates. Don't just let them go. Stay in contact. Graduates, over the past 13 years, we have graded you and probed you and measured you. We have thousands of test results on file, and many people may think they really know you. Graduates of '94, this is not the truth. For all of our tests and for all of our measurements, for all of your classroom success, we cannot measure your inner drive. We cannot measure your heart. Only you and time will know that. Believe me when I say there are students here today, perhaps honor students, who will fail in their lives, and there are those here today who may not have done quite as well in the classroom who will succeed grandly because they have the inner drive and the spirit to do it. We cannot measure your heart. Finally, whether you finished at Steele or at the Lorain County Joint Vocational Center, we are truly proud of you. You have met some of the highest academic standards in Ohio. If our reputation is bad, that reputation will follow you. If our reputation is good, that too will follow you when you seek a job, choose a career, attend a college. Whether you like it or not, your school will become part of your being, part of yourself upon which others will judge you. Now, graduates of '94, I wish you success. Joy is in the pursuit, not in the winning. I wish you harmony between one another, and especially with yourself. And most of all, I wish you peace. May God bless us all. Thank you.
At this point in our program, we've come to the fork in the road. It's time to say goodbye. Please excuse me for a moment while I talk to my seniors. I will always remember you as a special class. There'll be a special part in my heart for you. Perhaps the biggest reason for that is that you're the first class that I've spent 4 years with as principal of Steele High School. Life is like a journey, and I've had the pleasure of sharing the last 4 years of my journey with you. I've enjoyed watching you grow. I remember back the first day of school on August of 1990 as we stood in the multi-purpose room for the first time and met. It was your first day of school as a freshman. It was my first day of school as the principal. And I'll never forget that. We've gone through a lot of things. We've learned together. We've worked together. We cheered together. I know some of you think my cheering's a little corny, but I hope you do remember the message, because I know that you will be successful. I know you will succeed. Though the cheering was corny, don't ever forget the message. We've also laughed together. We have our morning announcements and various things that have happened over the 4 years, and we've done a lot of laughing. And we've also cried together. As I think of a teacher who passed away this year, I cried quite a bit because it was a friend. And I thank you for the support you gave me at that time. Now it's time to say goodbye. If you ever need a friend, or you need someone to talk to, just understand and remember that you have a friend at 450 Washington Street. My door is always open. I wish you good luck. I wish you happiness. Maybe most importantly, I wish you good health, because if you have good health, everything else will take care of itself. You're part of our pride. You're part of our tradition. I love you. May God bless you. The assembled candidates have completed all of the requirements of the state of Ohio in the Amherst Exempted Village School District and have earned and are thus awarded a high school diploma. We are proud to present the class of '94 of Amherst Steele High School.
Lana Marie Mahar. Richard Leroy Updegrove II. Kara Marie Dobus. Rainero Louis Medina III. Kelly Lynn Kaufman. Adam John Brass. Gretchen Ray Ruth. James Trevor Engelhardt. Tara Lee Vegahaupt. Jeffrey Ahrens. Susan Carlene DeJama. Christopher John Alicia. Christy Ann Jubeck. Michael Christopher Anderson. Jody Lee Aaron. Mark Christopher Armelli. Regina Marie Allen. Christopher Scott Aschenbaugh. Kristen Ann Aschenbaugh. Josh Barb. Stacy Michelle Barnhart. James Allen Barnes. Amy Ann Bernhardt. Jason Anthony Barron. Rebecca Ann Bowden. Daryl Richard Berthold. Randy Elizabeth Boros. Robert Joseph Boast, Jr. Lisa Diane Bradley. Jeffrey Scott Bridges.
Samantha Figueroa. John Fitzgerald. Michelle Fazekas. Jeff Farlow. Harry Eshelman. Kenneth Farkash. Heather Erickson. Jeff Ellis. Kathy Engel. Thomas Elliott. Jessica Marie Ellis. Ryan Stephen Demian. Anna Maria Duell. Darren Darmus. Rachel Dozdrowski. Jason Daly. Keisha Charmaine Daniels. Jordan Thomas Patrick Coughlin. Lindsay Renee Cullen. Daniel Edward Conry. Leslie Lee Chambers. Ryan Perry Coleman. Arlene Michelle Carter. Thomas J. Capo. Carrie Louise Cameron. J.B. Serrata. Rhea Yvonne Busick. Thomas B. Campana. Deborah Lynn Borelli. Adam Lee Kane. Carol Ann Burnett.
Dawn Burgess. Gregory Burrows. Jennifer Ann Carpenter. Scott Flournoy. Jennifer Marie Frost. Stefan Fouant. Erica Lynn Gosser. Nathaniel Eric Gargas. Stacy Lynn Glowacki. Benjamin Thomas Geary. Gina Maria Gonzalez. Scott Gieser. Dawn Marie Greiner. Robert Andrew Giacobbe. Nicole Michelle Haig. Michael Brian Gornell. Tiffany Robin Howell. David Matthew Geidish. Brandy Ray Hunt. Scott C. Haynes. Rachel Elizabeth Hardy. Jeffrey Allen Hartle. Nicole Rochelle Ireland. Michael T. Hennis, Jr. Amanda Marie Johnson. Brian Scott Harehuth. Letitia Renee Johnson. Mark Allen Innocenti. Angela Nicole Jolly. Stephen Todd Jacobic. Heidi Marie Jones. Jason Robert Jajak.
Jason Mayer. Tiffany Moss. Anthony Mady. Erica Dawn Morrill. Matthew Martin. Gina Marie Monaco. Jonathan Adam Mikett. Elizabeth Ann Miller. Kenneth James Molich. Kristen Marie McCaslin. Gregory Avria. Elizabeth Ellen Mamrick. Michael Logston. Angela Dawn Malone. Charles E. Lewis. Amber L. Mahar. Jason J. Kozar. Amanda Marie McGuire. Ross Eric Kohlmeyer. Kristen Lee Mackert. Sean Corner. Donette Elena Lovett. Jason F. Kirshner. Wendy Jean Lawson. Brett Nicholas Cornell. Amra Kubasek. Daniel Ryan Perez. Julia Marie Pranica. Daniel Isaac Keller. Bree Kassane. Ryan Michael Hanley. Cynthia Fox. Ryan Matthew Flournoy.
Etsy Common, Mike Kalassi, Heather Lee Carnes, Robert Bruce Willis, Nicole Marie Cayeton, Robert Allen Kane, Cassandra Lynn Palmer, Todd Allen Meslak, Michelle Marie Palmer, Edmundo Miranda, Sarah Catherine Lillian Popovich, Stephen Eric Moore, Valerie Susan Payne, Christopher Lee Morrow, Erin Michelle Prudoff, Don Ray Muleman Jr., Jean Francis Raycar, Russ Morrow, Heather Marie Ramey, James Allen Mumford, Christina Noel Reichert, John Robert Nider, Tatum Joy Reynolds, James Northheim, Crystal Regina Riddick, Larry Christopher Polanque, Sherry Riley, Scott Lee Powell, Jennifer Lynn Roberts, Jim Pullen, Tina Marie Regala, Robert Victor Ransom, Angela Beth Romas. Andrew C. Rigda.
Shannon Renee Thrash. David Suster. Julie D. Thompson. Richard Larry Strader. Amber Marine Zooks. Sean Russell Stevens. Tracy Nicole Zally. Chadwick Alexander Samoji. Misty Nicole Shigerick. Robert Anthony Smith. Gina Catherine Stump. John B. Smith. Ellen Sue Stencil. Kim Smarsh. Marissa Lynn Spellman. Michael James Sleesman. Kelly Renee Sneezick. Michael J. Seeley. Stephanie Smith. Robert Andrew Schneider. Sandra Lynn Slavic. James Allen Schieferstein. Jody Priscilla Shea. Rodney Allen Salisbury. Lisa Marie Serrano. Robert Douglas Robles. Christina Marie Sellers. Darren Andrew Romansky. Jacqueline Ann Salent. Anthony Stephen Myers. Diana Lynn Nesky. Dennis McGee. Angelia Marie Naso.
Christy Joy Wagner. Scott Trelka. Angela Marie Van Sies. Kevin Alexander Tugamigas. Lisa Michelle Tudich. Dana J. Thomas. Michelle Lynn Rowland. Matthew Riggs. Elizabeth Ann Ruth. Christopher Allen Robinson. Jessica Ann Schmidt. William J. Rogers. April Christina Sigmund. Chris Trentadue. Amanda Wasilewski. Joseph Updegrove. Krista Noel Watkins. Matthew Valente. Carrie Watson. Edwin Joseph Velasquez. Marnie Ann Worth. William P. Vicins. Sarah Rebecca Witham. Ian Verchek. Holly Marie Zeal. Walter Matthew Waite V. Valerie A. Zilch. Jason Lawrence Watkins. Jamie Helen Zavosik. Christopher Welty. Jason Werner. Anthony J. Weslowski. Brian Williams. Jeff Zavosik. Richard Gideon.
Please rise for the benediction. As we leave here today and go our separate ways, let's not forget those who helped us on our way. Be thankful for the teachers, administrators, coaches, friends, families, and most importantly, the Lord our God. May He bless the meaning of these words and the meditation of our hearts. We thank the Lord. Amen.